Hello, friends, and welcome into College Football Now. I am your host, Tom Downey, back again with a brand new AP Top 25. So let's get right into it here. No change at the top, and that's really no surprise. 1 through 5 stays the same. LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama. Of course, there is a big game coming up this weekend. That is Ohio State and Michigan. Always a must-watch matchup, and this year, there is some added weight. OSU can real close to getting themselves to the CFP, or maybe Michigan can cause some chaos. It is a home game for the Wolverines. So who do you guys have this week? Type O for OSU, M for Michigan. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, on to 6 through 10 here. Utah, Oklahoma, both those teams rising because of Oregon, who we'll get to in a little bit. Florida jumps 2 spots. Minnesota, they are now back inside the top 10, and so is Michigan. So the game this weekend is going to be a top 10 matchup between Michigan and between Ohio State, as the Wolverines have really got their offense going the past couple of games. Now, in a little bit, we will have our Heisman Trophy update. The race and the field has very much thinned out as of late. There is a clear-cut frontrunner who could be invited to New York. Stay tuned for that coming up in a little bit as we get back to the rest of the AP Top 25. Baylor, they check in at number 11. They took down Texas, who is not back. Penn State drops 3 spots from 9 to 12. Wisconsin moves up 1. And then your big faller, Oregon. They were number 6. They barely stay inside the top 15 after a very disappointing loss to Arizona State. More on that coming up in a little bit. Notre Dame, they stand pat at number 15. Auburn, they lost, but they're going to stay at number 16 after giving Georgia a pretty solid game there. Memphis jumps Cincinnati, so that now matches the college football playoff rankings, which, reminder, we'll be live for you guys with that on Tuesday. Cincinnati, again, 18. Iowa, 19. Boise State, no changes for those two teams, 19 and 20, respectively. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code on your screen, CFB120. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, here's going to give you $60 for free. That way you can keep betting on all of your favorite and just general college football games. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code CFB120. Oklahoma State, they move up 1 spot. App State does the same as well. Virginia Tech, they give the ACC another ranked team. They're holding off Virginia for that regard. They check in at number 23 overall. Navy, they climb back into the top 25. They're now number 24. And USC, I'm not surprised by this because, well, the CFP had it. The AP poll tends to kind of lag behind a week in some cases there. They check in at number 25. Iowa State, they are the first team out and not by much. Much like USC, they've had a good but not great season. They have 74 points, so they're 79. Virginia 38, A&M 27, Air Force 22, SMU lost Navy. They plummet quite a ways down. Arizona State got some votes. A little surprised by that, mostly because they're 6-5, and that really wouldn't jump to me as a team that should be ranked in the top 25 if you're 6-5, regardless of a big win that they just had. 6-5 Pac-12 teams shouldn't be ranked. And then Louisiana, 1 vote for the Raging Cajuns in this week's AP Top 25. On to the Heisman Trophy power rankings as promised. Number 3, Chase Young. I think it's a 3-man race right now, and that might be generous. Now, Young, I don't know why Penn State kept doing this. They're like, yeah, we'll just block Chase Young one-on-one. Guess what happened? Good things for Chase Young, bad things for Penn State. I really didn't get the Nittany Lions' offensive game plan there. 9 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. If he balls out against Michigan, and if he shows up the rest of the way, Michigan, of course, Big Ten title game, maybe things will change, and maybe Young can get to New York and even win the Heisman Trophy. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. Now, his numbers against TCU through the air, not great. And the past couple weeks, you've kind of seen a little bit of regression through the air for Hurts, but he continues to be dynamic on the ground, continues to put up great numbers. And because Chase Young missed 2 games, maybe that will be enough for Hurts to just eke out Young at between 2 and 3. But make no mistake, there is a very clear number 1 in the Heisman Trophy race. That's Joe Burrow. I'm not going to rule him as the winner yet, because I did that with Tua last year, and we saw how that went down. But I think Joe Burrow is your clear-cut Heisman Trophy favorite. And there's really little to argue against unless you want to make an argument for Chase Young and ignore the 2 games he missed. He's been incredible this year. Arkansas, they're terrible. But Joe Burrow has lit up every team he's faced. He is now just the 4th quarterback in SEC history to throw for 4,000 yards, throwing the likes of Johnny Manziel, who won the Heisman Trophy, of course. Almost 79%. He has been incredible so far this year. I think Joe Burrow very clearly should win the Heisman Trophy in this season. So let me know in the comments, do you agree with me or not? And oh, by the way, stay tuned. Monday morning, we'll have a full in-depth breakdown of the Heisman Trophy, going beyond just the top 3 candidates to even a top 10. So stay tuned for that, but let me know in the comments who you think should win it this year. Let's go to some winners then from Week 13 of college football. How about the Baylor Bears? Maybe it's time we give them a little bit of respect. I know Texas is not back, but Baylor beat them up. 24-10 was the final in this game. Sam Ehlinger, nothing going on in the air. Baylor now, if they win out, don't they have a chance at the CFP? Shouldn't they be higher than not even in the top 10 in the AP poll? It's a 10-1 Power 5 school. How are they not top 10? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's a little ridiculous and a little bit disrespectful to Baylor and the Big 12. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, they're also winners. Did they get some assists from the refs against TCU? Sure. Were they probably going to win that game anyway? Yeah, probably. But Oklahoma's win keeps their playoff hopes alive. It was not pretty, but if Oklahoma can win out, they have a very strong chance to make it to the college football playoff. They will need some more help. As we get down here in a second, they got some of it this weekend. As I mentioned, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. If you bet on Baylor to win and TCU to cover the spread, you made some money this weekend. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code CFB120. That's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CFB120. That'll get you a 120% deposit bonus. Now, everybody in the world bet on Alabama to beat Western Carolina because it's Alabama against Western Carolina. But Bama's a winner not because of that, but because of what happened in the Pac-12 this week. Oregon lost to Arizona State. That loss, helps Oklahoma, as mentioned, helps Baylor, as mentioned. It also helps Alabama. What happens if Oregon takes down Utah? What happens if Baylor beats Oklahoma? Then all of a sudden, if Bama wins out, regardless of not having Tua, that's a one-loss Bama team whose only loss is to LSU and not by that much. So Oregon's loss is exactly what Alabama wanted. Maybe they're not quite dead in the water yet when it comes to the CFP race. Of course, they have to get by Auburn in their final game of the year, regular season-wise, this weekend. Alabama going on the road. Who do you guys have? Type 1 for Bama, 2 for Auburn. Auburn's offense hasn't been that great this year. Even without Tua, I'm going to go on the road. Give me Bama. I'm putting in my ones in the comment section. But you guys put your votes in there as well. Now, while you're down there, hit that big subscribe button. We're trying to get to 150K. We'll be live. We got Heisman Power Rankings coming out. Not live, but on demand Monday. And live Tuesday once again for the latest college football playoff rankings. There will be change inside the top 6 because Oregon is one of your biggest losers this weekend. All they had to do was win. And Oregon's offense really bothers me because they showed the good offense late in the game. And then they didn't use it at all early on. Herbert had a really bad start, tried to recover, couldn't do it in time. Their playoff hopes are now dashed. Arizona State upsets them. A 2-loss Pac-12 champion. Beyond some really chaotic stuff going on, I'm talking Alabama losing games, LSU blowing out Georgia, even Oklahoma, Baylor losing games on the stretch. They're going to have a really tough time getting in. All right, some teams outside the top 25 who are also losers this weekend. The Miami Hurricanes have a unique ability to lose games which they are favored by multiple scores. They did that this week against FIU, against one of their old coaches, I remind you. It wasn't even as close as the score indicates. FIU was up big for a while. Miami finally got going and tried to recover, but the Panthers, their first win over a Power 5 team, gets them bowl eligible. Shout out FIU. Things are not going well in Miami, and it's just not pretty for the Canes right now. Speaking of not pretty, that's Stanford. I know they had quarterback injuries this year, but for the first time in 11 years, the Cardinal are not going bowling beyond like some really weird, crazy API, whatever, the academic, yeah, API. Just, it's with the academic progress stuff. If they get not enough teams bowl eligible, maybe Stanford can sneak in, but that's not going to happen. Cal gets bowl eligible, and Stanford, eek, not a good showing there for the Cardinal. They are not going bowling this year, and what was a normally steady program had itself a very, very down year. All right, let's go to the top 25 one more time here. Of course, Oregon was in the top 10 this past week. They are no longer. Their loss helps Alabama in a big way, but it also hurts Utah. Now Utah's win over Oregon isn't going to look as good. So Oklahoma, they get an assist from the refs. They would have won the game anyway, but Jalen Hurts did not get that first down. He absolutely did not. Either way, they were going to win. They remain in the mix as really 6, 7, not 8, and 9 all remain alive for the CFP. So too does number 11, Baylor. Can we show the Bears some respect? They've only lost Oklahoma this year, and a game they probably should have won. They were right in the mix of it. They are a 10-win Power 5 school, and we got them behind two loss programs. I'd put them in the top 10. Let's give them a little bit of respect here. Penn State, Wisconsin, Oregon, Notre Dame. They're not really in the mix here. Wisconsin, they can still win the Big Ten or Big 12, Big Ten West, but they're not making the CFP. All right, Auburn, they're 16. Memphis and Cincinnati, that's played on this coming Friday. That is a low-key fantastic game because the winner of that game sets themselves up to be the Group of 5 representative in one of the New Year's 6 bowl games. Now, Memphis, to lose this game, they might not make it to the AAC championship game, but Cincinnati, they're in good shape. Must-watch football for that one. Iowa's 19. Boise State lurking if the AAC cannibalizes itself to get that Group of 5 nod, but they check in at number 20. Oklahoma State, they are number 21. App State's 22, also lurking for that Group of 5 bid. Then Virginia Tech at number 23. Watch out for the Hokies. If they beat Virginia, they will win their division in the ACC. Will play Clemson for a right to get blown out. Let's just be realistic here. Clemson's going to win that game. But the Hokies, I thought they were dead in the water against Duke. They got blown out. I'm like, wow, this team is not that good. Since then, they have looked incredibly impressive. Their only loss, a close one, to Notre Dame. Watch out for the Hokies. Justin Fuente has things back on track here. And then rounding out your latest AP Top 25, Navy and USC.